All right, guys, welcome back to Unbutton this week. We're going to play a little game where we guess the Google search topics. Let's do like a jail-related one.
I love jail stuff. I've watched everything about incarceration.
Yeah.
When you were incarcerated, what do you think they are?
When you're incarcerated, can you have sex? What are the rules on that in jail?
No, I don't think you can. Oh, wait. Some inmates get what's called a... they get like an overnight.
A pass?
No, they get like an overnight with a family
Like The
member.
Bachelor?
It's called a... I'll look it up in a second because
The fantasy suites.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, but
I've actually never really thought
only
about it,
certain
though.
ones get it.
I mean, I know you
And
hear
then
about
there's
like rape, but yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
And then there's this prison in Indiana where women are allowed to have their babies, but they can only keep them in there for, I think it's like the first 6 weeks or something, or maybe it's 12 weeks. Something like that, I don't know.
Okay, that's an interesting question. When you're incarcerated, can you have a baby in a hospital?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, you can.
so they let you go have your baby.
You can
just
go to the
come
hospital
back. How long are you allowed? Anything.
Really? Yeah. You go with a guard and you get like they like shackle you to the bed, I think, so that you can't escape, but you always have like a guard on watch.
Oh, God.
But they do take prisoners to the hospital, yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
then, but like after having a baby, like, do you get any time
Let's
to
see.
like when they send you home 48 hours later, are you going back to jail with your baby?
You don't go back to jail with your baby. Just this one jail I was talking about tried this like whole thing about letting the baby stay with their mothers.
So you're basically forced to like put it up for adoption or keep it with a family member or what?
Yeah. Here,
oh my God,
I'll just like give the...
So incredibly sad for the baby.
Yeah.
I mean, and for the mom, of course, but like the fact that the baby
when a
has to suffer.
woman gives birth while incarcerated, she's typically separated from her newborn shortly after delivery. The baby usually going to a relative or being placed in foster care.
Mm-hmm.
Most facilities do not allow the mother to keep their baby with them in prison, though some states have programs called the Mother and Baby Unit, which is the one that I was telling you about that I watched that documentary on. But yeah, no.
That is like kind of heartbreaking to me for the baby.
They're usually only allowed 24 hours with the newborn in the hospital.
Oh my God.
That's really devastating.
I've never thought about that.
Okay, you know I love jail stuff.
Like,
I have, and I feel like a little torn about it because I'm like, I
feel like the consequence for the mom, like she's there for a reason.
Yeah,
but
it's for the baby. I agree. That's what I was going to say. I mean, the mom, it's like, you know, if they made that exception, a lot of women would probably just get pregnant right before they went to jail.
Totally. It would be like
to get out of jail.
Yes.
But at the same token, that poor baby.
After 24 hours.
I know, isn't that crazy?
That's so sad. That actually is kind of making me want to cry.
I didn't know that normal people didn't like think about this type of thing.
I have never thought about that in
Conjugal
my life.
visit.
Conjugal visit.
Let me look that up. Who gets a conjugal visit? Because not everybody does.
And is it like just in jail? Like do prisons let you have that? You know, I was like a full ass adult before I understood that jail and prison were two different things. I think it was actually when I went to jail that I realized it was two.
Okay. A conjugal visit is a scheduled time when a prisoner can spend with a visitor usually their legal partner. The purpose is to help prisoners maintain family bonds and increase the likelihood of successful returning upon release. Some states do allow it, and those states are California, Connecticut, Mississippi, New Mexico, New York, and Washington.
Now, this is like an overnight thing. It's not just like visitation hours.
You have to have good behavior. The policies are really rigid with rules including brief embraces, short kisses, which I'm like, are they watching you with like a camera all night?
And is the outsider
several
coming
hours
to
or
stay
days in private with the visitor? Yes.
At the jail?
Yes. It's like a room they have. Here, I'll show you a picture. It's like a room they have at the prison. It looks like a little hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motel room.
Yeah. Ohio does not allow conjugal visits.
So, wow, yeah. That's really, I'm just kind of mind blown by the fact that a baby.
Oh, you're still on that?
I'm still on that.
Okay, go on Netflix. I wonder if it's still on. And it's
the girl one that you loved.
Oh, I love that one. No, that's different. That's younger girls. That's juvie.
And what is that one called?
Let me look it up.
You're basically a jail expert.
I love it. Girls Incarcerated.
Oh yeah, you loved that
I
one.
love that one. There's multiple seasons, and I
watched Orange is the New Black for a while, and I
these
really
are real
liked
documentaries.
it. Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. It was totally a drama.
Yeah,
and I didn't really like learn a lot. I also think it was kind of unrealistic.
I've watched a lot of jail shows and feel a certain way about like lots of them, but watching Girls Incarcerated, it is about juveniles, and it's these girls like 13 to 17-ish, like I'm giving a rough.
Yeah.
And that one really got me in the feels because I'm like, these, for the most part, I'm not making a huge blanket statement, but for the most part, these girls are a product of their environment.
1,000,000%.
Like, some of them are literally...
They're like 12.
They don't know any different. This is literally what they grew up and this is what they see. They don't know different.
Right.
And they don't have the home support. Lots of their parents are locked up, so they're just kind of like living...
so sad.
Like, it is really sad because... It made me sad. It made me sad thinking about them getting out because I'm like, well, where are they going? Like, it's not like they're set up for success. They're going right on back to what they knew.
Right. And honestly, like, once they're out, it probably feels safer to be in jail for them.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So then
you're
it's
gonna
like,
love this.
do they just perpetuate? Like,
so at this particular jail,
yeah,
that I thought it was great. The warden, like, they all say this too. They're like, he's like basically a dad to all of them, and he even says, like, when some of them leave, like, it's really sad. Like, some of them have been upset, some of them come right on back. Like, it shows, like, how some of them are reincarcerated.
Yeah.
And then it does at the end, like, a update on everyone in their lives and stuff. And it was really good. I learned a lot.
So
And
sad
I
to
had,
think about that.
Yeah.
Like, being that young and, like, actually wanting to stay in jail because it feels safer than being on your own without your parents.
A lot of them were for, like, drug charges or, and, you know, like their parent, like this one girl in particular, you know, she was on drug charges. Her parents were on drugs. Everyone she was around was on drugs. She was saying, and it's like, okay, you are who you hang out with and all this stuff. And like, if you are raised in a certain environment, like it does make me sad thinking like, okay, well, how, you know, people are always like, well, they can get out of it. It's like at 12, where are they going?
Yeah, I mean, that's like Peter J. Like,
yeah, and you're like, but
I mean, I would just pray that
only the way he knows.
I know.
So I'm like, it does make me think, at least in juvenile prisons. Now they did have like schooling and different like trades and stuff, which I think is great and needed.
That was what I was just gonna ask. Like, there's got to be programs, right, that are
but again, it comes to like, you know, funding in places, and eventually they're going to be tried as an adult, and that's it. He, you know, is explaining to all of them like, right now you're coming here, but like, you realize that, like, you know, some of these girls are 17, they're on the brink, and he's like, the next time you do this, you're not coming here. You're going to prison.
And
like,
you're the young one, and
it's really interesting, but you got to watch that one. And then
Girls Incarcerated.
Yeah,
I do
Girls
feel
Incarcerated.
Like I would like that. But I also think it's going to make me really sad.
No, you do kind of just like
get into it.
Yeah, you get into it. And yeah, there are sad parts, but then also sometimes you're like, you know, you want to be like, get it together, honey. But then you remind yourself, like,
totally.
You know, it is really good. It's really good. They do a good job of not making you just sit there being sad. Like, some of the girls are funny and just like outlandish and like.
I love that.
There was one part that Allison and I always repeat because we watched it together where they're talking about like the different units, like unit 1, unit 2, whatever. Yeah. And this girl comes into the unit and she goes, "Ooh, she don't belong in here. She belongs in the suburbs, unit 2." It was so funny. Like that you just like start to like the characters, and it's the characters, they're real people. Yeah. And it's funny. It's funny.
I love when documentaries do a good job of like developing the characters like
they do a really good job.
It makes it so much better.
They do a really good job. They interview the girls. There was one that I really did get sad. Like this girl kept like trying to call her mom, and her mom like would answer sometimes, wouldn't answer, and then she'd tell her she's coming, and she never came. Like,
okay,
but you're gonna really like it because it just I learned a lot.
Yeah,
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
But anyways, the other one is called Born Behind Bars. That's the one that is kids. Like the moms who can have their babies in jail.
Oh God,
in Indiana,
so like crazy.
But it's for a short period of time.
Yeah,
but it was good.
Why am I kind of surprised that it's Indiana?
It did kind of surprise me.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like California.
I was going to say, I would have expected it to be like...
And maybe there are ones there too. This is just where they did the documentary on.
Or I could see it being like Colorado or something.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, maybe there's more states that. Oh my God, my mic just literally hit me in the face.
Yeah, like look at that picture. Oh,
okay, that is breaking my heart.
yeah, it does. But then like it was a good. I think you should watch it.
Did you ever go down the rabbit hole of the Menendez brothers?
Now here's the thing. I can watch jail shows and all of that. What I cannot watch is jail shows in a way of, well, now I like trials and I love stuff like that. Like I eat it up, legal stuff. But with that one in particular, and I never watched the documentary, but
It's so brutal.
Get really hung up on when I feel like the legal system may be wrong in the sense of like, is anyone else seeing this how I'm seeing it?
Yeah.
Like, I obviously don't think murder is right, but I'm like, they were literally being raped their entire lives by their parents. What other way did they have out? That's awful.
So awful.
And I'm not saying they should murder them, but at the same token, I'm like, oh my God.
Right. It makes you feel like, how do we fucking blame them? Mm-hmm. You know, like, and
even if they were even if it were like, you know, they pled mentally ill. Yeah, of course they are.
No shit.
Like, what do you mean?
Their father has been raping them since they were 6.
That's the thing. I can't even watch that because I'm like, I will fixate on it. I will not sleep.
And then
I will just be sick to my stomach over
I
it.
was sick to my stomach I like binge. Look up the name of the one. It's not the documentary. It's like the drama, but it's based on the story.
Okay. Monsters?
Yes. Monsters is what I watch. So it's like based on the story, but it's like a drama. It's really good.
So it's not like the case. It's not watching their trial that people are playing them.
Yes, and it goes.
Is it factual or it's like dramatized?
I'm pretty sure it's. See what it says. I'm pretty sure it's pretty factual. I mean,
okay,
to whatever extent.
Monsters versus real life. How accurate is it?
Okay, yeah.
So it looks like in this article, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it basically just says like what they got right and wrong.
To me, it seemed very valid just based on loose stories I've heard about like the case and stuff. But it fucked me up. Like I couldn't stop watching, but then afterwards I couldn't stop.
I think that I would fixate on that way too much and it would not be able to leave my mind for a long time.
Yeah. And you know, the thing that bothered me the most, aside from what their father was doing to them, obviously, because it's just
repulsive. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
But the mom knew. The mom
I am not a speechless person. The mom knew the whole time.
The mom knew,
and she was just letting it happen.
She turned a cheek
because she wanted to stay married to this monster.
Yeah.
Did she ever address it with them?
Boys, like there was a part where one of them, like, came to her. God, it makes me want to cry.
And
they were like
sick.
really like young still.
Yeah.
And like he was kind of trying to say like,
what the dad was doing to them?
Is this normal? Yeah. Because from what they can remember, he was doing that to them. Like that is, they were.
Was the mom trying to say they were lying, or she doesn't deny that it happened?
She just brushed it off, and that was it. Like she fully knew what was going on. And I want to say maybe, I would have to fact check this, but I want to say maybe he was abusing her too.
Okay.
But like, yeah, it was going on right under her nose. And they thought that telling her was going to be like
a stop to it.
Right. And it's
their mom. Of course,
their mom.
They thought that she was going to help them.
Like, can you fucking imagine finding out?
Her sister, it looks like her sister testified saying that she knew about it.
Wow.
It said, the sister said, it breaks my heart that my sister Kitty knew what happened and did nothing about it that we knew of.
Mm-hmm.
They never knew if tonight would be the night that they would get raped. It's time for them to come home. So the aunt is fighting for the boys and is basically saying, like, going against her sister, as she should. But
so sick.
See, I can't.
I know.
I don't think I can get into this. Now, I loved, like, Casey Anthony trial and all
good.
that.
The Johnny Depp and
I love that. And I loved that. Even the Casey Anthony, I was like,
Yeah, Menendez
freaking
Brothers
annoyed.
crosses
But
a
this one crosses a like where you're like just I mean, yeah, I was infuriated about the Casey Anthony trial because she definitely killed her, in my opinion. Yeah. I'm like, are we what? Are we? I mean, again, okay.
Then you go into the corruption. You're like, how is this?
Yeah, because
we're gonna have to make this into another one.
It's like, on one hand, I'm like, I mean, the system failed that little girl because her mom killed her. But on the other hand, I'm like, if they don't bring enough evidence,
that's just
you
what
don't
happens.
have a fair, like, you have a right to a fair trial, and it is the job of the lawyers to bring the evidence and convince the jury of why. And if they didn't do it, the people, because I also think about this often, like those people on the jury, are like, okay, I have someone's life in my hands. I could either send this woman to jail for life and she did not kill her baby, or I could be setting a murderer free.
Yeah.
And either way, you are left with a pickle. And so they have to just go based on evidence. And so, whatever. I personally feel like there was enough evidence, but I wasn't in the jury. I wasn't in the trial, although I did skip work that day to watch the whole trial.
That's amazing.
No, I mean, I get invested.
Well, that's what really like hurt my soul about like the Menendez brothers thing too, because like, yeah, you can't just fucking murder your parents like that. I mean, you got to go to jail for that. But like the fact that,
okay, but this is where, and again, this is what people would say. This is why some people would say this is why the court system is broken. I don't know if I'd say broken, but this is where gray cases.
Totally.
This is why things come up, because it's like, yes, you murder someone, you go to jail. We can't be out here murdering people on the street.
And it would be
really, really hard to go case by case basis to say like that was justified or not, because what is justified to one person might not be justified to somebody else. However, I don't know, because some people might say like, yes, that happened and it's horrible, but you did a horrible thing back and two wrongs don't make it right. Which I'm like, okay, I mean, are you joking? But at the same token, I'm like, well,
I'm trying to remember if they like tried to report that their dad to like authorities or not. Because
and
like
if authorities ignored it, that's absolutely ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, they should not have blown their parents' brains out. But like, I
don't know how they killed him or anything. I mean, I know that they killed them. I just don't know all the details because I truly think that would stick with me for a long time. But
they literally blew their brains out with fucking rifles.
Yeah, and so the court will say, well, I mean, that was really premeditated.
Right.
It's not like it was self-defense in the act at one point. They're going to say, like, you
and they
planned
just
to
like
kill them.
literally one day decided.
No, they did not tell the police in advance. Oh, about their plans to murder their parents. They only confessed their involvement of the killings.
So
initially
they
to their therapist, actually.
Oh,
who
I
then
forgot
informed
about
the
that.
authorities.
Wait, I forgot about that. That's a really big part of the story.
Who then informed the authorities through his mistress?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like the therapist went home and told his mistress, and the mistress told the cops?
God, I'm trying to remember. I actually completely forgot about the therapist. That's a really, really big part of the story.
Okay, the therapist's mistress later told the police about the brothers' confessions after breaking up with the therapist.
Okay, so the boys like confessed to the therapist that they killed their parents.
Yes.
And I want to say there was a recording that the mistress
heard of
How'd
she hear this?
It was like on a cassette tape, like in
so
his
she was going through
office or
stuff?
something. I can't remember. Yeah, because she was pissed. She was pissed because he like broke up with her or something like that. Like she was seeking revenge.
So now that makes
me
think,
and the therapist
though,
was trying to protect them.
If you're a therapist, don't you have a right? Like if it's like self-harm or something harmful, like you do have to report it? Or he was like, I'm going to turn the blind eye because he thought it was justified.
Yeah, I think that was the situation. God, I need to like go back and watch it. It's honestly such a good show if you can stomach it.
It says that their therapist told the mistress.
Okay, yeah, maybe he did. Maybe he like had said it in confidence.
It says he began recording his sessions with Lyle and Eric after.
So he told her, and then she got pissed off.
They broke up, and she told the
police. Yeah. I forgot about that whole part of the story. God, it's a really good show.
So how many years later was it
that they got caught for? I mean, it was like,
or was this like instantaneous?
It was like there was a fucking bloodbath in the living room. Like they walked into their parents' living room. They were sitting on the couch, and they shot them both in the head multiple times. Like I think that they got charged like pretty quick.
Okay.
And they tried to make up, an alibi. And I remember there's a scene where they're at the therapist's office, like trying to figure out what they're going to do.
So this is interesting. They were both tried separately. They both had their own jury.
There is a scene.
Why? Because they each had a separate gun. They were tried separately.
I'm honestly not sure why they were tried separately.
Because they committed the crime together, they were both convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole.
There's a scene where it shows the whole episode. It's like 35 minutes, and it's the one brother, Eric, I think it is, and it's like him sitting in the room, finally opening up to his lawyer about like what his dad had done to him. And Lyle, his brother, actually touched him inappropriately when he was a kid because Lyle thought it was normal because his dad had always done it. So he's telling this story, finally opening up, and it is 35 minutes of him talking about it, and it never changes the scene. He's acting the entire time. They shot it in one take, and that's the entire episode. And it literally, I have chills thinking about it. It is the most incredibly, horrifically sad, but incredible acting I've ever seen in my life. Like, the episode was over and my jaw was on the floor. And I literally looked it up because I was like, that was insane. And I read like that it was one take, and he pretty much kind of improvised like what that would have felt like and been like, confessing to his lawyer that his dad and his brother did that to him growing up. And like, it was so heart-wrenching.
Okay.
So heart-wrenching.
So then the current status is that they filed for habeas corpus.
What's that again?
Like when they want to like go in front of a court again to say that like their detention is like
they should get out.
Basically like kind of not like a retrial, but like
Let's revisit this kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see.
I remember seeing Kim Kardashian
Civil action
posting
that brings a prisoner before a court to determine if their detention is lawful. So basically kind of like re-bring stuff up. Now the current status is that they have been described as model prisoners. They were sentenced to life without parole, and a judge has denied a resentencing hearing for the brothers. I'm going to say this. I couldn't be a judge because I would have a really...
Oh, my God. I would be the
really
worst
hard
judge
time sitting up there.
Ever.
However,
I feel way too bad for...
I
can't.
But have you watched... Oh my God, what's the story? The Judge and His Son.
The Bryan Cranston.
What is
I was
that
just
called?
going to say, we need to tell people to watch that.
What was that called?
It's on mine. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's like one word.
Was that on the Netflix?
On the Netflix?
On the Netflix, that's like my mom.
Is that on the Netflix?
Your Honor.
Your Honor. Oh
Okay.
my God. You guys have to watch that show. It's so good.
You guys have to watch it because that is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
This show, without giving anything away, is a show about a judge.
Yeah. And it's Bryan Cranston, who's amazing.
And I don't
Breaking
know
Bad.
any names.
Yeah.
But yeah, that exactly.
Breaking Bad guy.
He is the judge, and there is an instance where it comes about his son has committed a crime.
Yeah.
And he needs to decide as a father and as a judge, do I uphold the law because that is my job and that is what I have been doing. Like that is what my job. That is what I have said was right.
Sworn to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or this is my son. Do I lie for my son and protect my son?
It's so good.
It is such a thinker.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
Honest to God, you think you'd know your answer, and you don't. You're like, I mean, you gotta watch it. I don't want to say anything more about like the story of the crime, anything, because I don't want to ruin it. But you should watch Your Honor if you have not watched Your Honor, because
the acting is so good too. And he's amazing in it.
And I'll be honest, I had to start it. I started it twice before I actually like got into it because the first episode was kind of hard to watch.
I was gonna say I had to fast forward a little bit in
Get through the first episode because the first episode you're gonna be like, oh my God, is the whole show like this? I don't know that I can watch this. Like this is a little bit too much, but it's not. So just get through that. I will say that. But
that one's really good. That one
It was a really good show.
I'm kind of sad that I finished that one already.
I actually
What's
don't
another
know that
good
I
show?
ever finished it out. Now that I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, how did it end? What did he pick? I'd never finished it out. So once this is over, let's talk about it really quick because I need to know.
I kind of don't remember either, but I know I finished it.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up.
Sav will know. She watched it
Okay,
too.
so wow, that went from
That
Google
went-
searches to
We might have to
full-blown law.
bring those up.
Full-blown law.
What was the search that even
It
got us on
was
that subject?
About incarcerated. Can you when you're incarcerated?
Oh, yeah.
And then we went from
Yeah.
babies to I started talking about the girls incarcerated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so add to your watch list some
Wow.
really effed up stuff. Girls incarcerated.
Oh, it's so good. Girls incarcerated, babies behind
Monsters.
bars. No,
Babies
I
Behind
can't
Bars.
watch monsters. I can't
Yeah,
watch monsters.
Monsters
Your
for
Honor,
sure. is-
really good.
God, I want you to watch it though.
I don't think I'm going to. I'm not going to.
I need somebody to talk to about it. I actually kind of want to watch it again.
It's one of those things that will really mentally just send me for a tizzy. But I love a murder documentary.
Will
I
you
love
watch that one scene I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Come on, I'm gonna make you just to feel like the acting in that.
I also
show.
think this is why I would never be called for jury duty because I was a former teacher. I'm a mother.
Yeah.
I think that they're like really they're looking for people that are, well, I guess it depends what the case is. But
Yeah.
I think that certain people, based on their job and like what they're doing, like they're
I'd be
handpicking
horrible.
these people.
I'd be horrible. I would never be able to make a decision.
Okay, I say that, but in certain things, like I get on a trial.
Yeah.
It's somebody robbed a bank with a gun. They have video footage. I'm like, I mean,
Yeah, that's
what do you mean I
easy.
can't make a decision? You literally were doing it. There's
Yeah.
video footage. Like, there's no choice for me here. You did the crime.
Mm-hmm.
See you later.
Mm-hmm.
Where I would get tripped up is a case like
It's like a moral
case.
when morals are involved, that's where it gets hard.
Like specifically a rape case.
especially with kids. Anything involving kids.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think that's why I wouldn't be called for kids because I'm like, that's also a gray area because I'm like, well, kids don't know better. Like,
I know.
they are what they're taught. So, like, and that's the Menendez brothers, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, this is what they grew up with. They don't know any better. And like, if you lived with that type of torture, that makes it gray area to me. But any case like that, I'm like I said before, like you could be sending somebody wrongly to prison for the rest of their life without parole, or you could say somebody rapes a woman, or you could be letting this rapist loose, and she's like, she's like, well, I guess we're just gonna let that go. Like, I never got justice for that. Like,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
would have
it's like
such
it's
a-
almost too much to live with. Where I'd be like, I don't want to do this.
I know. I never want to be on like a
But I
high
wanna be on the
profile.
jury so
I
much.
don't. I don't at all.
Oh, I do. I'm dying. To.
Oh, I feel like it would eat me alive. Depending on
wanna
what it
be-
was.
Okay,
again.
sorry.
Yeah.
Woohoo. Let me say something. I want to be on a criminal case of like a robbery or whatever. I don't want to be on a case that is a gray area case.
Yeah. Like ethics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I'm volunteering to be the reader on a
Yeah.
case like that. You know, like I'm like,
Yeah.
sign me up.
Yeah.
We charge him of, like I'm into it.
Well, I was even just thinking about, okay, and then we got to wrap this up. But okay, this is like kind of unpacking a big story that we'll have to tell another time. But we had to go to court to
Yeah.
be witnesses.
Did we not tell? We told it and didn't record, remember?
Oh.
We did tell this story and it never recorded. And we said maybe that was a sign we shouldn't tell the story.
Maybe that's, and now we can tell the story.
Well, we're just going to get the highlight.
Yeah.
We were called to court for something that happened within the space that we have
An office.
an office.
Yeah.
And
It happened in the parking lot and we saw it.
we were called to court as a witness.
Yeah.
So
But
we weren't
there
like
was,
involved, but
A kid. Remember that kid that like was speeding and I like
Well-
wanted to cry for
well, okay,
him?
so first of all, and then we'll wrap it up. First of all, I was kind of geeked. I was like,
yeah, Lauren
we're
was
going
like
to court.
pumped.
Like they came to our
To
house,
go to
served
Marysville
us
court.
papers. Like we got called to court.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth like
Subpoenaed.
calls me and they went to her house first and she's like, I just want you to know there's going to be a man walking up to your house. We literally just got
I
subpoenaed.
answered the door in a bathing suit to this old man
would.
serving me to come to court.
God.
And I first ignored the freaking doorbell because
course
I
you
was
did.
like, "Ugh, I don't want to deal with whoever that is. I'm like laying out. And then I go up there in my bathing suit and he's like, you've been called to the Marysville court. I was like, oh God, what did I do? Like,
Yeah.
I immediately was freaking
Yeah.
out.
So we were talking on the phone, and then I'm like, oh my God, this is our moment. We're going to court. And she's
I
like,
was
it's
joking
not
with
going to be a
Lauren. I was like,
courtroom.
at first I thought it was like the IRS coming for Coco.
Yeah, that had me. I was like, oh my God, what did we do? But anyways, so we were in this debate about are we going to court or not? I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a courtroom. It's because it said bench trial.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth was like, it's not going to be a real courtroom. I'm like, no, it is. It's just not going to be
Yeah.
the only case that's
Yeah.
tried. They're just going to go through like
it's like
petty
an
crimes.
open like forum basically where you
Right.
can sit and you like hear
Right.
the other cases that are being
So we
tried
go
too.
the first time. We show up for our civic duty, and we sit there through.
Lauren's in her like professional blazer.
I wore a court outfit, a respectable court outfit. I was geeked, and we sat through an hour and a half of
it took
other people's trials.
Yeah.
And we were the last one, and guess who was a no-show?
Yeah, the guy.
The guy. So he had a warrant out for his arrest, meaning we had to come back again and listen to them. But we did encounter a few where we were like,
yeah,
I don't know.
That
I don't
young
know.
kid, which the judge was pretty great. Like
I thought he was too.
How old was that kid? Like 19 or something? And he was there because he got like his third speeding ticket within a certain amount of time. So he had to get up there and like talk to the judge, and the judge was like, why are you doing this? And he's like, well, I just got a new job. And didn't he have a kid?
Yeah.
And he's just like really trying to not screw up his job and get there on time and stuff. And it was like, I just felt bad for him. I'm like,
I did feel bad for him, but I was also like, this is your third offense.
And
Like,
that's how the judge handled it.
And he did. He was like, look, if this was the first offense, I'd be saying, like, this is your third offense. Like, you need to get it
and
together.
He straight up said, like, the next time you're going to jail.
Yeah.
But like this time,
which
I'm going to give you one last chance, which I did.
I thought that was fair,
cool.
honestly, because I'm like, I mean, 3 strikes, you're out. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I get it. Everybody has stuff. And like,
totally.
But at the same token, the judge has to look at it from like, but you could have killed someone.
Yeah.
Like,
and he did a good job of that. I really loved like listening to him talk.
See, now you want to go back to court?
No, I don't want to go back to court at all.
I do. Not for myself. I want to be.
I was going to say, you better be careful what you wish for.
I want to be called on jury duty to listen. I don't want to be involved in any court case.
I got called to jury duty. Did I ever tell you that? And I got out of it because I was like,
that is your.
I know. I actually wasn't. It was like something.
A legitimate excuse. I'm like, okay,
or something. I can't remember. There was something going on.
Got it.
Why
I was just
I
joking.
go?
I think that there are legitimate reasons where you're like, okay, I can't.
Yeah, it wasn't as legit as it should be, but it was something about like the kids. I think I honestly.
Well, if you don't have childcare, you don't have childcare.
I didn't have childcare.
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave my kids at home to come.
Yeah, and like William was a baby.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But I'd be kind of excited now.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. But we're in Union County, and I feel like Franklin County maybe just has a bigger pool of things to call from. I don't know, because I've literally never been called. I swear they have me marked.
I've been called that one time, but yeah, it's really interesting that you haven't ever been
Never.
called.
Not once.
That's
my
crazy.
friend Gabby's been called like 3 times.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, can you just give them my name?
God, is there somewhere on the website you can be like, I volunteer?
Volunteer tribute.
Please call me.
I know. I don't know. They probably wouldn't pick you though, because they'd be like, no, she's too eager and she's gonna like skew the case.
She has like vested interest.
And I think when you get on a
something.
jury, like you sit down and they ask you all these questions and they either let you go or ask you to be on the jury.
Yeah, to make
Because
sure you don't have any like.
I think that it's like one half gets to pick half the jury, the other half gets to pick the other.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. I believe that in maybe it's certain cases that's the thing, but I think that, and I could be totally wrong here, but that's how I understood it.
Yeah, fact check everything we've said during this episode.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, I could be blowing smoke. Yeah, how is it?
But that is also interesting. Like, what's the selection process? Like, do they look at your job and shit?
A jury is selected by randomly drawing. It's not random. Yes, drawing potential jurors from a pool compiled primarily from registered voter lists.
Okay.
Sometimes including driver's license records, and then questioning them in court, known as voir dire. How would you say that?
Voir dire. I've never seen that.
Me
term.
neither. To identify and remove individuals with potential biases, allowing the attorneys to eliminate a limited number of jurors through peremptory challenges. until a final jury is formed. So yeah, basically what I was saying without all these legal jargon.
So they review your record.
Yep.
Yeah.
It ensures a
which makes
fair
sense.
representation of the community and avoids prejudice in the trial. However, I'm like, does it though? If they get to handpick, like they're trying to pick people who they think are gonna sway their side.
Who's picking? The lawyers? Or the judge?
No, well, it's questioned by the judge and attorneys, to assess their ability to serve impartially on the case.
Okay, so the judge is...
I wonder, like, if the attorneys pick first and then the judge goes back and is like, all right, yeah, that's fine.
Right.
Or what? I'm not sure. Attorneys can challenge potential jurors for cause based on specific reasons like bias, or use different challenges to dismiss jurors without giving a reason. And there's a limited number per side for the no reason.
Yeah, like, I just don't like you.
Or they're like, this lady seems combative. Like, I'm not.
Right.
She's going to hang this jury. We're going to be here forever. I'm not doing this.
Right. Yeah, or I guess if your client is like,
Okay, here's a question, a real riddle to the mind. If you're on a case and everyone agrees but you, would you hang the jury? Or would you just be like, well, everybody agrees. I'm not going to like.
I think it depends on the case. Like, I feel like if it was something that I really, really felt deep in my soul, I would totally stand. Like, if it was like someone's life on the line or not, I feel like I would.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like if I was the only person, that would be really hard.
Because then I feel like jurors would start to like turn on and be like,
right. And
what?
aren't they like not allowed to talk to each other outside of?
I think outside of it, yeah.
Yeah.
When a jury is unable to reach a unanimous verdict, the judge declares a mistrial and the case is retried. So with a whole new set of jurors.
Okay.
This is called a hung jury. Okay, so you wouldn't stay around and like try to be convinced. They would retry.
Okay, yeah.
Which maybe sometimes lawyers like a hung jury because they're like, I
gives
get
them
more
more
time to
time.
collect stuff and I have maybe the next jury is going to be easier to persuade.
Right.
The prosecution can decide to retry the case with a new jury. This is the most common outcome. The prosecution may offer a more favorable plea deal to avoid another trial.
So that's probably strategic in some situations.
Yep, I bet, yeah.
Yeah. In that case, I would definitely hold my ground because what do I have to lose? If I like really, really, really.
How many
felt
times can
strongly.
they retry it though and get a new
Yeah, I
jury?
don't know.
You know.
Well, and also you have to think that those lawyers have to be paid. So the longer that
Well, they probably love
something, that's what I'm saying though. Like the more times and the more time and resources that the lawyers have to be used, it just gets more and more expensive.
How many times can a case be retried due to hung jury? It can be retried as many times as necessary.
Damn.
I wonder what's the like top how many.
Also, here's a question: if it's retried, does the new jury
Get to hear the old stuff?
Are they briefed on what the previous jury?
Okay.
Because that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. If you're a lawyer, we won't have you on.
Who's the lawyer? Because we need to pick your
I
brain.
have some people in mind that I'm like, I'm literally about to message
That
them
would
and
be
be
cool.
like, can you please come on? I just typed in when a case is retried, do they get info from the first trial?
Yeah.
Because that might like blanket. Yes, when a case is retried, both the prosecution and defense can access and utilize information from the first trial, including witness testimonies, exhibits,
that's
and trial transcript.
That's the lawyers, though. We want to know if the jury gets to know, which I guess is public information. They can look it up.
But
right?
it's public information once it's closed. Not right? Because you can't,
I have no idea. I mean, based on Blake and Ryan Reynolds, every fucking move is public.
Okay, this is interesting. When a case is retried, the new jury does not typically receive information from the first trial. They are only presented with the evidence presented during the retrial, meaning they hear the case as if it were completely new not informed of the previous verdict or details from the first trial. So they don't know if the jury was hung in one way or the other.
Yeah, which
makes sense because it wouldn't really be fair.
Right.
That would sway. Even if you said it wasn't going to sway your decision, you would have that in the back of your mind. It's like they call it the fresh start principle.
So they couldn't have heard about it.
And they're allowed to
anywhere else?
reintroduce new evidence in this second trial. It's not like they have to stick with the same stuff. They can introduce it. Well, that's interesting.
I wonder if lawyers ever like pay off a jury member to like not
Yeah.
agree. So that,
Yeah, oh, I've heard that before.
Like literally just to buy more time to have a retrial and be able to get more evidence.
I mean, I'm sure it's illegal, but
I'm
some
sure it
sleazy
happens.
freaking lawyers probably do that. Do lawyers
Yeah.
pay off jurors?
I mean, I'm sure it's like a huge
I wonder if
offense.
they pay off some judges sometimes too, because the bigger the case they probably win, the bigger, you know what I mean?
I think it'd be a lot easier to pay off a juror though. Because I feel like a judge, if a lawyer came to you.
Okay, no, lawyers are not allowed to. That's not what I asked.
But do they? Come
like,
on, Google.
you know. I didn't ask if it was legal. I said,
I'm sitting here thinking about the like ads we're about to get based on our search history on
the good
this
thing is
iPad.
we don't ever open up the iPad, but yeah.
Between diarrhea and...
Okay, long story short, I really, really want to have a lawyer on here
I know.
because I'm so interested in this stuff and I just think it's so intriguing. And I'm going to put up on our...
I kind of feel like in your next life you should be a lawyer. Do you want to quit?
Do you remember when we went to that... Growing up, my dad always said I should be a lawyer. He's like, you're really good at arguing and you are really actually good at that stuff. But I'm like, my moral compass would get in the way.
I would not.
Because I could not be a lawyer for somebody I knew did wrong. Like, I'd be like, well, sorry, you did it. Like,
totally.
You know, like if somebody comes to me and they ask me to be their lawyer and they're a rapist, I'm like, absolutely
right,
fucking
like
not.
a defense attorney.
I'm not going to make a lie for you. And now to the lawyer's defense, they'd be like, I'm not lying for you. I'm just presenting the evidence in a certain way. And I'm like, I wouldn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
I'd be like, so you want all these creepos to run free? You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't morally do it.
Yeah.
I like the thought of like being involved in hearing it. I could never be a defense lawyer.
We should just go sit in on some.
I said that a million times. I'm like, they're open. You can. I'm well, certain ones.
Yeah, but they weren't really that exciting.
We need
have
to go down
to like the Supreme Court.
County. You know? Yeah. I gotta get in on some cases.
Yeah, that would be a lot more exciting than the Marysville court was.
I'm gonna look up when we can. We're doing it. But anyways, you were saying what?
Hard. I don't even remember.
You said you should be a lawyer. Oh, and I said, what was I saying?
That you wanted to have a lawyer on.
Yeah, no. But there was something else I was gonna say. Well, whatever, it'll come to me later. Yeah, we're gonna have a lawyer on.
Okay, if you're a lawyer and you want to come talk about.
Yeah, I'm putting it on Instagram. If you're a lawyer and you want to,
how badly we just botched all that information.
Yeah.
Most
now,
likely.
to be fair, let's preface: we're not going to ask you to like divulge from a certain case, like break the law.
Yeah,
but
we
I
just
want to
ask questions. I do too. I mean, we just asked Google about 40 of them, but I would love to talk to like a person. I wish we could have Emily from Real Housewives of Orange County. She was a lawyer. She was born and raised in Ohio.
I wish we could have Jen Shaw.
Oh, God. That would be epic.
Okay, so calling all lawyers, we've got a whole thing. Anyways, this turned from Google questions to full-blown law.
Yeah. How long has this been? It's been so long.
I can't even see that far.
I can't either. But
okay, well,
thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.